Today, I'm going to take you to the Emile Dupont atelier in Paris. Emile is a talented artisan who makes exquisite flowers and feather designs for the haute couture in Paris. These are photos I made when I visited his atelier several years ago. I know you will enjoy them. Let me introduce Emile, the talent behind the fabulous designs at Emile Dupont. This display was on the wall, so if you were considering a bridal bouquet or a display, you could immediately see a few of the possibilities. Here are two different arrangements with the same or similar flowers, but the arrangements are completely different. You can decide which you like better. Or you might choose one of these bouquets, which have completely different flowers. Every inch or centimeter was used in this atelier, so there was no vacant wall space. On this wall there were racks of tools, which were used to shape the flowers. There were flowers everywhere. This was one of several clotheslines filled with flowers. Now I'll show you some of the flowers. This is one of the hanging flowers. It looks like a rose that is a few days old because it's completely opened. At first glance, the flowers in this non-woven material look like they are all the same color, but when you look more closely, you can see the variations in the color. To create the color variations on this flower, the individual petals were dyed and or painted. This flower is totally different. The fabric looks like it might be a plastic. I really like the sequined pansy. I always like the same dress in different fabrics. Here you have the same flower made up in different textiles. This is a traditional flower shape in a very unusual fabric. Perhaps this is an American Beauty rose. Isn't this a lovely peony? This flower is similar to the previous flower. It's similar in color, but the base petals are quite different. Here is another group of flowers fabricated in a non-woven textile. Notice the flower on the extreme right with the stamens at the center. Here is a familiar shaped flower, but it's in a very different material. Look at the shape and colors on this flower. This looks like a Chanel camellia in a red alligator skin. On this rack, you can see the dies for various size petals. The die is a metal shape used to cut out the petals. In this close-up view of a die, you can see the cutting edge. When the material is easy to cut, the die is placed on the fabric and hit with a mallet. Since the edges of the die are sharp, it will cut the fabric. Some fabrics are too thick or too difficult to cut by hand, so a machine, which can apply many pounds of pressure, is used to press the die. I never considered how complex the flower designs are. This design book has patterns for the petals of a particular flower and the number you need for each flower. If you look carefully, you can see the total number that has been written in to be cut for this particular order. Here is the color chart for this flower. Can you imagine how many color charts Emile has? Once you decide on a color, you have more choices. Here you can see the many variations that can be created. Each of these cards includes a dyed petal with the recipe for that particular petal color. Here is the recipe for the petals she's working on now. We haven't interrupted her too much. You can see that she is working on painting a group of individual petals. Some are already finished on the right side. Here is a close-up of the petals which were just painted. After the petals are painted, they are placed between several layers of newspaper, and the paper is squeezed to remove a lot of the moisture. This is a different worker painting the edges of petals for a different flower. You can see the one she has painted in the upper right-hand corner. These shelves have a different group of dies for flowers in many different sizes. This worker is seated in front of a press which she is going to use to shape a group of flat flowers. The flat flowers are on the left and the shaped flowers are on the right. First, she put a flat flower on the tool which is sitting on the press. Then she covered it with the tool in her hand and put it under the press. Once it was pressed, she is now removing it, and you can see how it's shaped on the tool in her hand. Next, the shaped flowers are assembled into three-dimensional flowers and glued. Voila, the flower is finished. This is really a small flower that required a great deal of time and effort, but isn't it pretty? We saw this interesting flower earlier. Here is the textile used for the flower and the tools which will be used to shape it. No, I don't know how it all went together, but I'm fascinated by this flower. One last look at the flower, simply because it's one of my favorites. Here are two more clotheslines covered with flowers, bouquets, and trims, which were hanging in the atelier. I also had a visit to the stockroom. This is the stockroom for fabrics and where the fabrics are prepped for cutting. You can see the wide variety of different materials which are used. And of course, there are many white fabrics which can be dyed easily and successfully. Before we leave, I want to show you some of Emile's feather designs. These feathers are shaped into a cape. Like the flowers, the feather designs are designed with a plan. Here you can see the various feathers that will be used on the cape. Notice that the ends of the feathers have been prepared so they can be inserted into a background fabric. The background fabric is probably silk chiffon or silk organza. This is a close-up of the cape. You can see the fullness of the cape, but you can also see on the left side Emile holding a single feather so that the feathers, although they are very full, remain individual. I can just feel the softness of the feathers in this photograph. This storeroom has dozens of boxes with a variety of feathers in different sizes and colors. Many feathers are small, but they can be quite large. Yes, the larger the feather, the more expensive. Lastly, many of the feather designs, like this bustier, are unusual and very interesting. I would be remiss if I didn't show you this top hat, which was made in the atelier. Notice the incredible straw work. The visit to this atelier was fun, very interesting, and much too short. The next time you see the beautiful flowers in an haute couture design, you will be reminded how much talent and work were required to make them. Here is one last look at some of Emile's beautiful flowers. It's time to say goodbye to Emile. I had a wonderful visit with Emile and the workers in his atelier. I hope you have enjoyed it as well. I'm Claire Shaeffer. Thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and join my channel.